Dear students, we welcome you all to this subject disaster management. This subject is being taught by Rajagopal sir and by me, Mr. V. Sudarsanam. So we are in the first unit. So in the first unit, we'll be discussing what are the risks, what is actually risk, and how disasters happen, what are the types of disasters that are happening, and also different floods, how it's happening because of earthquake, landslide, flood, droughts, fire, and we classify the disasters into man-made, natural disasters, and what is the impact of the disaster socially, economically, politically, what are the effects it has on the environment, on the health, and about uh, society also. People are socially they are affected, psychologically during the times of disaster people are affected a lot. There are differential impacts also, and people at different caste and the class, people, ladies, gender, uh, the less healthy people, those who are very senior citizens, they're all very badly affected due to disasters. They are unable to take care of themselves. They need someone's support. So all these things we'll be discussing, and we'll be studying in the first unit. There is a trend also that is happening, how disasters have become. There's after closely studying the disasters, the trends, the global trends and disasters are given. What is complex emergency, what are the do's and don'ts during every disasters are given. So this is the trend that is happening. As you take a closer look at the disasters, the number of disasters is rising day by day, and it's becoming less deadly. When we say less deadly, people are not losing their lives much to the extent how it was in the previous century. Because the disasters, when it happening, it is becoming more costly, and it disproportionately affects the poor nations, and the disasters number are increasing every year. So this is the trend that is in disaster. So let's discuss the first trend. Number of people affected is rising. So as you see here, people in this as per this trend, people many people are living, they don't have proper settlements, they don't have proper sound houses, like they don't live in safe areas. They are living near the seashore, near the jetties, levees. Some people, they just, for a want of better financial economy, or they don't want in order to make a lot of money, they even choose to live near the slopes of volcanoes where the soil is very fertile. In the year 2000, as per the statistics, or in the year 2000, 75% of the world population lives in high risk areas. So this is a major concern. So any disaster happening in this area, for example, if there is a volcanic eruption, people living in that area are affected immediately. They are living in colonies. There are in hundreds and thousands of people are living in these areas. They don't have a proper house and they live in huts. So in the disaster management, if people are living in proper, concrete houses, it saves them in many occasions during rains and all that. But then if they don't have proper house, then it really contributes, then they do suffer a lot. The second concept is disasters are becoming less deadly. As you can see here, uh, due to the advancements in technology, the early warning systems that we are having, and also we have earthquake resistant structures which protect people during uh, earthquake in countries like Japan, where frequently there are earthquakes. And if any area is frequented by a lot of cyclones and tornadoes, so there are safe ground rooms that people build and they go inside and live safely. And if it's a tsunami area, people choose to live under, to they have there is a different way of building also. Tsunami resistant houses are also there. So we have become very we have adapted to the disaster. So since we have learned it and we are well informed, we can always protect ourselves in that way. The disasters, the second trend is it's becoming less deadly, so we know how to protect ourselves from the disaster. So the next is the disasters are becoming more costly. So when we say it's more costly, people are becoming living in urban areas in huge number. They throng to a particular area. They live in a particular area. They come from lot of villages for a want of better education, better you know for have to have a job. So job they wanted in search of jobs, in search of good education, in search of good medical facility. People try to they just live in live in cities in huge number. So when a lot of people are living in that area, that gives rise to a lot of challenges. Providing clean water to them, providing good facility, food for them is really one of the major concerns of the government. And if there are any pandemic or any small disaster happens, since the people are living all together, they are all affected very badly. And if the area is where it is a hub, financial hub, contributing to the highly contributing to the business. If that area is affected, if power is affected even for a one day, the loss incurred is such a huge amount, because people live in in a high risk zones. And if any small thing happens, that reflects, that gives rise to a huge loss financially. And you see it people in the rich countries, they know they have very less population, and the government in the rich countries, they can easily manage, because the population is less, and they have all the basic facilities if there is a disaster which is going to strike. So cyclones, earthquakes, the government knows how to quickly revert back and to save the citizens from the problem. Whereas on the other hand, poor nations or developing countries or underdeveloped countries, they have a difficult time, because the population in these countries are huge. The government has a difficult time to provide clean water, to provide the basic food, water, and shelter during the time of disaster. So it takes a lot of time to revert back or to come out of that disaster. And in rich countries, people are easily they have technology, good money, so they just can spend money, they can safeguard themselves, they live in good areas, sound buildings. But whereas in the poor countries, people live in colonies, they don't have proper houses, they live in huts, and they also live near high risk areas, as we have seen previously, near the jetties, levees, near the dams, near the seashore, near the riverbeds, where they can easily be affected when there is a flood or severe rain or cyclone. So the challenges faced by the poor nations, the magnitude of the challenge faced by the poor nations are so high when compared to the rich nations or developed countries. So that is a fourth trend. The fifth trend is every year, each and every year, the number of disaster is increasing. This is a trend that has been followed. So every year the disasters are increasing, and in one way, though we have adapted, so it is not so deadly. Often disasters, they happen, and they end up economically damaging us. So the economy of the country is badly affected by this disaster. So these are the five trends of the disasters that we are that we are seeing. So as you can see here, urban disasters happen. So you are seeing how people proliferation of population, global distribution of flood zones. So these are the areas where you're seeing in the map. These are the areas where they often floods do happen, and then people live there. They are the cities, urban areas where they are not planned. For example, even cities like Mumbai and Chennai, a few to give a few example, these cities have lot thousands lakhs of people living, but then the cities are not planned. So buildings are built on the river beds without proper permission, and also during it becomes bad to worse during the time of uh, rain, and there is when the flood when it is flood, the people are all badly affected. So, disasters are about human population, how their lives and activities are imperiled or changed, but how they react to crisis, the attitude they hold, the judgments they make, and how they confront the everyday problems of risk and vulnerability. This is the definition of disaster given by Kersen in 1983. So, if you see this, we understand that our attitude towards disaster also is very important. People should be really ready to learn from the past. If the government is telling or insisting on any particular training or any change of relocation in order to safeguard them, people should always listen to the government and support them, so that when the disaster can be properly handled. So vulnerability is it talks about it talks about how easily people can be affected. Who are the people, the population which can easily be affected is called as vulnerable people. So it is how we handle it. A disaster can be easily overcome when proper precautionary measures are taken and followed. This is about the disaster. And see, this is urbanization disasters. The city of Dhaka in Bangladesh, and this is Mumbai, a crowded railway station. See how crowded it is, and people, if there are any small problems, also all the people will be affected. So this is Chennai T Nagar Ranganathan Street in the eve of Deepavali festival. So this image tells you about Mumbai. The greenery in Mumbai has slowly it has disappeared, and the red area is actually it is. It's a built up area, so the green vegetation area is disappearing and this built up area is increasing. This is a statistics it was taken in 2011, and now there will be more buildings as well. So it is our duty to understand for an engineer to understand the problems that are there and how to really be a change maker, so that we contribute for the well-being of the country. Thank you.